Say hello to Corey. He's our partner here in the kitchen. This is Mr. P's Experiments. And hello. And also I'm supposed to say to Caden Busby, this is CP in the kitchen. That's just for you. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start our cinnamon rolls. Now these are not mine again. These are Laura in the Kitchen's recipe. And I've made these about 6 times. And these are amazing. We're going to start off here with water between 110 and 120 degrees, and we're going to stir some sugar in because the sugar helps the yeast do what it's supposed to do. So we're going to take a packet of yeast, dry yeast, and we're going to pour this into our sugar water. And we're going to let that bloom for about 5 minutes. I'm going to take a quick stir here. A lot of it smells good already. Isaiah, do you smell that? Isaiah is back behind the camera today. Isaiah, some of you asked about a gaming channel. Mr. Perry does not do gaming. Isaiah does a little bit. Isaiah, what do you play the most?
Nowadays I play most of Kingdom Hearts. And like games like Mario and Kirby, but mostly it's just plush videos and sometimes like countdown videos.
So check out Isaiah's channel. He'll link the name of his channel right here somewhere. We're going to come back in about 4 or 5 minutes once our yeast begins to bloom, and we'll put everything together for our dough. Be back in a minute. All right, so we're back. Check out the yeast. It is really foamed up. Remember, these are recipes that I believe middle school students can do, just like Emma. Emma, if we do this, do we mess around? Are they toys? No, they're tools, aren't they? Also, kids, make sure that you're cleaning up as you go along. So we're gonna put an egg in, all right? And you put the egg in first. That way, just in case your egg, oh, I made a big mess. Just in case your egg is not good, you haven't ruined any more ingredients. So we put that in first. Then we're going to add our sugar. It was 1/4 cup of sugar. I took 1 tablespoon out and put it in there. And then there's a little bit of salt. There's 1 teaspoon of salt. We're going to dump that in. And then, oh, by the way, that's 1/4 cup of water. And then we have 3/4 cup of whole milk. It is whole milk. And it does matter. I don't know why Laura in the Kitchen says it matters. And if Laura says it matters, then it matters. So, and also, he says it matters too. So if they say that it matters, okay? So what we're going to do is this. We're going to take this mixture and we're going to beat it real quick. Just going to break up the egg and everything else. We're also going to add, 1/4 cup of melted butter. Unsalted, because we already added salt. Okay, so we're going to dump that in. And we're going to put this back down. I'm going to let this do its thing. For just a second. Look at that yeast. Look how much it foamed up. That's amazing. All right. Now we're going to dump the yeast mixture in here. It smells so good. By the way, this recipe has nothing to do with weight loss or weight loss prevention. These are just amazing. And parents, you probably heard about these already from when I made them before. These are just incredible. So we're going to take this real quick. Oh, just do a quick mix. And now we're going to start adding our flour. This is going to take 4 cups of flour. I've already got it out, and I don't sift it. I'm too lazy to sift it. I just use this and just makes me feel better about myself. Okay. So we're going to take about 2 cups-ish, and we're going to put this into our already mixed up mixture. And we're going to let this just go for just a few minutes to get it incorporated. You start it on slow. If you don't start this on slow, you get a shower of flour. It rhymes. So, look at it now. It's getting incorporated, so it's not as big a mess. Okay? I'm going to take this, and if you'll look in here, Isaiah, I'm going to pick this up. Notice that on the side, some of the flour is trying to run away. We're going to push it back into the pool. Okay? And while we do that, I'm going to add, we'll add a little bit more flour. Why not? All right. Let's do it again, real slow, so we don't get covered in flour. Remember, middle schoolers especially, high schoolers too, whoever's watching this, you can do this. This is a recipe that's doable. Just follow directions. I'll try and remember to put a link this time on Laura in the Kitchen's website because her recipe is the one I'm using completely. And it's doable. I'm telling you, it's doable. You just gotta follow directions, take your time, read through it a few times. Here's a great way to learn to practice thinking in our current downtime is to read through directions on a recipe that is this is time consuming. We're gonna let this dough sit here a little bit for 2 hours. But I promise you the end results are more than worth it. Everybody in this house loves these. So again, you turn it back on and you begin to, oh, by the way, I mentioned the water for our water earlier. It has to be between 110 and 120 degrees. If it's not, the yeast won't work, okay? So look at our mixture now. It's doing really well. My mixture does not stick very well. I have to hold it. It's a real pain in the neck. It is flying a little bit. Yeah, Isaiah's right. I probably shouldn't have it turned up quite so high, but I'm living on the edge today. I'm feeling a little wild. So let it fly. What do you mean no? What's that no for there, pal?
Just calm down there, buddy.
Sorry, I'm getting a little excited because these are going to be delicious. All right, so we're going to let this go for a little bit, and we'll come back in just a few minutes when the dough is all set. I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so I've had to ditch the mixer. My mixer's angry. The bowl does not seat very well, so I'm going to have to figure out what to do. So I'm doing this by hand. And the dough is pretty good. It's got a little tacky, but this is just kneading it by hand. You can actually do this without a mixer if you want to. You use a spatula to mix everything until it gets like this, and then you just turn, take the heel of your hand, and like push and fold over and push, and the same thing over.
Notice a pattern with the dough.
Yep. You can even do two hands. You can do like this. You can do like this. It's not rocket science. You just gotta learn how to feel the dough and just kind of get used to it. That's the biggest thing. It's not a big deal. Okay, you can't really mess this one up. I've done this dough like 6 or 7 times now, and it's just not a big deal. Okay. Also, I mentioned 4 or 5 cups of flour. 4 cups of flour. Notice I didn't use all the flour this time. Whatever reason, it just doesn't need that much flour today. So there we go.
I accidentally put my hand in front of the camera.
That's okay. So there's the flour. There's our dough. It looks great. We're all happy. I'm gonna take the same bowl I had here before. I'm gonna take a little bit of canola oil, not olive oil. You don't want cinnamon buns tasting like olives. It's a terrible idea, people. What are you thinking? Come on. Come on, people.
As opposed to cinnamon rolls tasting like canola?
Canola is flavorless.
Oh.
Good question, Isaiah. It's actually flavorless, so that's okay. See that? We're learning things on this channel. Woohoo! Okay, so now we're going to take our bowl of bread. Look at it. It looks great. We're going to put it in here, and we're going to rub it around to make sure it gets all covered in oil. If there's not oil everywhere, then it makes this really hard, filmy substance. So we're just going to cover it with oil. Now I have the oven light on, not the oven light, people, because we don't want our dough to cook. We just want it to be in a warm place. And it's going to be in a warm place for 2 long hours. So this is a recipe that takes a while. It's right now 4 o'clock at my house here in Central Ohio. And it's going to take 2 hours for these to rise. Then we're going to make cinnamon rolls, let them rise for another hour, and then cook them for 30 minutes. So this takes a while, but they are well worth it. So here's what we're going to do now. So I got it covered. I'm now going to take this. I'm going to stick it in my oven carefully, and it's going to sit there for the next 2 hours. We'll be back later on. See ya. Hi guys. So we still have about a half an hour for our dough to rise. But I'm going to get ready the mixture that's going to go inside of our cinnamon rolls. So first of all, you need 1/3 cup of unsalted butter. Not melted, but it's soft enough to where I'm going to be able to smear it with my spatula on top of the dough that we're going to lay out. So we're going to need that. And then we're also going to need 3/4 cup of brown sugar. And you do press this down. It's not like regular sugar. It actually packs. So you do that. All right. And then we take a 1/4 cup. This is a 1/4 cup. And we're going to take about that much for this. All right. Got all that done. And by the way, while I'm doing this, it's important to get all your ingredients laid out so you don't make any mistakes. Like me, this is supposed to have a splash of vanilla in the dough. I forgot this, so it's going to taste a little different. You can do it without it. It's okay, Mrs. Peria. She's great. But you can do it without it. This is going to have to be without it because I forgot it this time. And I remembered about a half an hour ago. I'm like, uh-oh. So that's what we're going to do. So we got that. And then, obviously, in order to have cinnamon rolls, you kind of need to have cinnamon in them, don't you? And by the way, notice, I cleaned up. Now, there's a few things in the sink, but there's also kids here. I'm going to blame the kids, even though one of those things over there is mine. So keep on cleaning up. And kids, don't forget, too, that you don't do this without permission from a parent. I heard from a kid today who did the croissants. I have not been brave enough to do those yet. I'm really impressed with that. Way to go, Raquel. So anyway, we're going to do 1.5 tablespoons of cinnamon. So here's a tablespoon. And it doesn't have to be, I mean, exact, but we want it as close as possible. That's good enough. There's a tablespoon. And then 1/2 of one. I always kind of eyeball it because I'm too lazy to get the 1/2 tablespoon out. That's probably good. All right, so then what I do is I mentioned this tool earlier. I love this whisk because it just blends things really, really well without getting a mixer or anything like that, because you want the brown sugar and the white sugar and the cinnamon to all be mixed up. And then we're gonna lay our dough out in a minute. We're gonna put the butter on top of it with that spatula, and then we're gonna take all of this that's in this bowl and we're gonna spread it all over on top of the dough, roll them up, cut them, and let them rise for another 45 minutes. So we'll be back a little bit to show you how all that works. All right, so I'm getting my dough out and it looks fantastic. It smells wonderful already. Isaiah, do you smell that?
I do.
Take a whiff of that. Smell it.
Ooh, that smells good.
Yeah, it does. So that's the dough. Now watch this. You're gonna punch it. It'll kind of deflate a little bit. It's a really good sign for your dough. And we're gonna lay it out. Hey, Coda. That's Coda walking through. All right, now this dough is very easy to work with. It's just, you can use a rolling pin if you want to. It just doesn't need it. So what I do is, you can use a little flour too. It doesn't hurt. I'm not right now because so far we're so good. But basically what you're doing is you're just going to stretch it. And you want to stretch it to be as long as the pan. Now this pan, I've taken some warm butter and I've smeared it so that these things don't stick. But you want this to be as long as the pan. So what we're going to do is, I'm just going to keep on stretching until my dough is the same size as our pan. And I don't want to pull it too hard, so we're going to add a little bit of flour here. It's better. Yeah. I'm going to pick it up, do the same thing. Oh yeah. Notice how airy it is. Do the same thing on this side. Just a little bit of flour. Remember, get permission from your parents before you try to do this. And if you're going to do it, that means you're responsible to clean it up. Okay? And you're just going to keep on working this dough until it's the length that you need it for your pan. So we'll be back in just a second when I get this right where I want it. Alright, so now here's my butter. I melted just a touch to get it out of the thing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay it out of the, what is this called?
The dough?
No, this thing.
Bowl.
Bowl! Woo! I just spilled it. Look out.
You dropped it.
I did drop it. Now, we're going to take this butter and we're just going to smear it all over our dough. See how it's a little bit raised on the edges? I don't really want to get butter or whatever goes inside on that. But you're going to smear the butter. Yeah, there's nothing low calorie about this one, but it is divine. So you're just going to smear the butter till it's evenly distributed. And so far we are doing really well with the butter here. Okay, I haven't made too big of a mess. But see how the butter looks? See how it's really evened out? Yeah, that's why it's got to be, it can't be, it's been sitting out in my house now for, I put it out last night, and we're going to do this today. And now it's 6 o'clock in the evening, to give you an idea of how long the butter's been sitting out. Okay, so the butter's got to sit out, and then I put it in the microwave for just about 10 seconds to get it really, really loose. Okay, so there's the butter. Great. Now I'm going to take this mixture we made, cinnamon, brown sugar, and white sugar. We're just going to do this, watch. We're just going to sprinkle it until this whole bowl is gone. Alright, so here we are. I got all of my sugar and cinnamon mixture. Say that real fast a few times. Cinnamon, 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 cinnamon.
I'm not doing that.
Do it.
I'm not doing that.
Okay. Anyway, anywho, so that's, you just spread it out. Okay. Now for the fun part. Remember, these are not toys. We're going to use a big knife in a second. First, we got to roll all of this in. So here's what we do. Okay. We start on the edges. You got to twist the top and then tuck a little bit. So you're not stretching it a lot. You're stretching just enough to make it to where it tucks in. And then once it gets really going, then you're really just going to start rolling it. Okay? And the reason why you want it as even as possible, see how mine are coming out the side just a little bit? Okay, now when you get to right here, check this out. Got a little bit of water. I'm going to take my water with my finger. I'm going to run it along the front of this that I didn't put anything on, so that when I roll the rest of the way, it sticks a little bit. That way, I don't have stuff, butter, everything else coming out the side. Okay? So far so good. Now we're going to cut it in half-ish. And then half again. You should probably use a cutting board. Sorry, parents. Don't ever use a cutting board. I'm going to cut this in half. We're going to cut that in half. Oops. We're going to cut that one in half. We're going to cut that one in half. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Should be able to do that again. So we're going to cut it. Beautiful. Uh-oh. We cut this one in half. I don't know. It's kind of good. Cut that one. Cut this one. I'll cut that one for sure. What's that give me? It's going to give me, let's count, Isaiah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'll cut this one too. Alright, so now we take this pan, we're going to lay these like this. We'll be back in just a second when they're all in the pan. So I'm back now, and I put mine, that one's kind of big, but what do? You know what I mean? We'll find out what it's like in a minute. So now what we're going to do, put these back where we were letting them sit before. Hey, Mrs. Peria.
Hi.
She's a cutie. And we're going to let my saran wrap, I guess, just sit over top. We want these to rise for basically 45 minutes to an hour, and then we're finally ready to cook. And then we gotta make the sauce. The drizzle goes on top of it, which is fantastic. We'll be back. All right, so I just pulled out my cinnamon buns. Look how much they rose. They look fantastic. I didn't cut them very even. I definitely felt that. What I have done is I've got some butter that I melted. By the way, great trick. We have cheap coffee filters that we don't splatter butter everywhere. You can do that a lot. Also, the icing. So you need cream cheese, 1/4 cup, 2 ounces. It needs to be room temperature. A tablespoon of butter, room temperature. And then I have in here, I have 1 1/4 cups of confectionery sugar. And then I'm not going to forget the vanilla this time. We're going to put all that together once these get in the oven, but let's first get them in the oven. Okay, so first here's what we're going to do. We're going to take our pastry brush, we're going to take the butter, we're just going to basically paint. It's like painting with Bob Ross, only with numbers.
It's not painting, kids. This is not painting.
Oh, I thought it was.
No.
Alright, so we're just going to do this, and I'll be back in a second when we get them all done. Okay, I just finished using all my butter. I got them all painted. Now we're going to do this. We're going to put these in the oven for about 30 minutes. And as I mentioned to my class, these smell so great when you're cooking these. Stay in the area. You don't want to miss this. Okay, so we're going to put these on for 30 minutes-ish. And when we come back, with about 5 minutes left to go, we'll make the icing. We'll pull those out, let them cool. We'll pour the icing on it, and then me and Isaiah will have a taste test. Okay, I just finished 30 minutes in the oven with our... They smell so good.
They do. They smell really good.
Look how great they look.
Oh my goodness.
Now, while they cool a little bit...
I like that one.
It's ginormous, I know.
No, the one without the brown.
Yeah, that was an end. Some people throw the ends away. We don't ever. Now we're going to make the icing. So there's some cream cheese, tablespoon or so of butter. We're going to dump that into our...
Angry mixing bowl.
In the angry mixing bowl, but that's a good name for it. We're also going to we're going to add the vanilla this time. I forgot last time. She says to just to taste. I think she said a teaspoon or a tablespoon. I'm going to pour some in. I don't know. I just kind of eyeball it. Close enough. We're going to mix that for a second. Hopefully mix things up. I don't know. My
Sorry.
Where did you go?
He was looking at the camera.
Who was?
Corey.
Oh, Corey's happy. All right.
Happy.
So what we're doing is we're incorporating our cream cheese and our butter. It's not very warm, so it's kind of struggling here. But we're gonna fix that. We're gonna put a little bit of warm milk in it. We're gonna put a tablespoon at a time. That's gonna help solve some of our consistency problems. And if you've ever had a cinnamon bun, so far I put 3 tablespoons of warm milk in. Let's see how that does. You'll see how it starts to really come together kind of quick. So you can do this by hand too. This doesn't have to be done with a mixer. You could do this any way you want to. But again, if you don't like these, do it just for the smell. Is the smell not insane?
It smells really good.
Yeah, it's insane. So I'm going to add a little bit more milk because I want more. It's a little chunky today. I don't know if it's because I just my cream cheese might not have been warm enough. I didn't leave it out. I only had it out for about an hour. So you'll live and learn. It is what it is. And I was going to tell you, kids. The reality is you may try this and you may make a mistake. I threw the dough away twice when I first started this. And now I've made them several times. It's just part of the process. You're going to make mistakes, you're going to fail, but by the way, notice my kitchen is clean. That's right, it's clean. Help your parents, if you're going to do this kind of stuff and you get permission to make these or anything else, make sure you help clean the kitchen. Alright, so it looks like it's pretty mixed pretty well. I'm going to push everything back down into the pool for a second. Like a swimming pool. Looking pretty good. We're just going to mix it just one. I may add one more tablespoon of. It's really just by texture of how you want it. Again, you're not going to mess this up. It's just glorious flavor. Let's just add one more in here. A little bit more. We'll do that. Turn this on for just a second. Let it just dial up really good. And then we're going to pour it over. I'll show you how you spread it out. And then we're going to come back and taste test it. Alright, that's pretty good, I think. Okay, so we're going to put that in the sink. We're going to open that up. Just a tip here. This will drip everywhere. So again, help yourself by just taking one of your dirty bowls and putting it right there. Alright, now, there's our mixture. We're literally just going to pour this Oh yeah.
Oh baby, look, that looks good.
Mm-hmm. And then we just push the rest of it in the. And then once it gets on there, we will just take our spreader. I'm just going to move it all over the place. I'm telling you. Yeah, these are amazing. They are sweet. There's no doubt about that. Yep. Alright, so we'll come back in a few minutes and we will give them a taste test. Alright, so these have been sitting for a few minutes because we want to scorch our mouths. And now we're going to take the one in the middle because the ones in the middle. Yeah, Mrs. Perry would have scorched her mouth. Mrs. Perry has. We've all scorched our mouths actually on these, so I'm not. Check this out.
Here, Isaiah. I'll record. You go try it.
Okay.
Okay. So what we'll do is this. We'll take that.
You need a fork.
Oh, listen.
What do you need a fork for? I would be inhaling that thing.
There you go.
You take that.
Okay, here we go. It's probably really hot.
Wait, I'm not done yet. Okay, no, alright.
That is. These are amazing every time.
This is like I just.
It's been like a week since we've had them, and I forgot how good they were.
It's been a while.
So, get permission from your parents. Hush Shiva. Give these a try. It takes a couple of hours. It's now 8 o'clock.
But it's so worth it.
Worth every second. See you next video. Bye.